But I know what I am at least.
It's not difficult.
Not difficult. Like, he can't even lie. He won't lie. He's so straight. I don't want to say straight laced, but he's so honest that he literally can't even lie to himself. So, like, if you're like, do I look fat in this dress? He'll say, yeah, you look fat, and here's why.
So he sees a feature how like is an image in his mind.
Yeah, like he dreams it.
Dreams it.
Very vampirically designed.
Like the bite your neck.
Yeah, bite your neck. Twilight. Very pretty, very vampire.
Do you turn into a blood angel if they bite you?
No. Some of them have wolf ears. Like they have like little ears. A drink called Blood of the Blood God. And then so the guy yelled it in the store, and then like everyone else went skulls for the skull throne, or whatever legion they're specifically part of. Hi guys, it's me, Donn.
I'm Dan.
And today we're gonna be mainly going into some lore. Now I'm not like an expert, but I'm gonna try my best to explain what I know, and y'all can feel free to correct me in the comments or give your own 2 cents, but this is what I'm gonna try and explain from my limited knowledge.
I haven't looked at the lore at all. So I'm gonna be like asking questions and things like that. Don's more of a technical.
Yeah, I try and really get into this. So I'm gonna try my best. I'm not gonna know everything because, I'm still very new as well, but I know what I am at least.
It's not difficult.
Not difficult. So we're gonna talk about the Space Marines and about the orcs. In this video, it's gonna be very, very basic, because any of y'all who know the Warhammer lore, there is a lot. And if I was to, like, talk about everything I know, it would take, it would probably take days.
Okay, before we start, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
What is a Space Marine's favorite month?
What's a favorite month?
March, because it's the only time they get to walk anywhere.
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Alright, I've got another one.
Okay.
Why did the orc bring a ladder?
Why?
Because they heard that the Blood Angels had the high ground.
Okay. Alright. You know what? Those are funny, but...
Alright.
Also, super dad jokes.
Yeah, I am a dad, so...
Anyway, from those, we'll start with the Space Marines and then try and get to the orcs. So this will probably be a little longer of a video, but I'm gonna try and condense it. So first, the Space Marines, they're not just called Space Marines. In actual canon, they're actually called the Adeptus Astartes. So like, that's their name. So if you ever like read the books, they usually won't say Space Marine. They'll be like, that's an Astartes, that's an Adeptus Astartes. That's because that's who they're talking about. I'm making this clear because whenever I was reading The Rise of Horus, I got really confused because I was like, where's all the Space Marines? They just keep talking about these damn Astartes guys. And it took me like 5 chapters to realize that was Space Marines and that they just had a different name. So but that's just that's me being slow. But so that's what they're called in every single like thing, like character, faction, whatnot. They usually have like their own little name. Like Adeptus Astartes, there's Adeptus Custodes. They have like their own, I don't want to say scientific name, but it's kind of what it is.
Okay.
Like how we are Homo sapiens, basically.
Okay. So then what is Blood Angel?
No, they're Astartes.
Blood Angels are Astartes?
Yeah, Blood Angels are Adeptus Astartes.
So then what's the difference between Blood Angel and a Space Marine?
Blood Angel is just like the Legion of Space Marine. So all the Space Marines, or all the Blood Angels are Space Marines, but it's the type of Space Marine they are, because... Okay. So, we'll get to that in a minute. Okay. There are 20 legions in the Space Marines. Technically, there's 20 legions. Each legion has a guy called a Primarch, and that's like basically a demigod. So, to continue on from your questions that you just asked, because I know you're still curious, I'm going to explain the general Imperium, and then we're going to get to closer to what you're wondering about. Okay. So, basically, in the world of 40k, there is the Imperium of Man, which is basically not all of humanity, but most of humanity in, like, the general, like, galaxy universe, I think. I want to say galaxy. It's in the Milky Way galaxy.
Okay.
So I don't know if they've expanded out to universes yet. I haven't checked that. Oops. But it's basically the Imperium of Man is trying to conquer every single planet of humans while also killing all Xenos. They're a very xenophobic race. They hate like any aliens they find. So they'll go planet to planet conquering, but also just killing any aliens they find. The Imperium is ran, or its grand leader is the Emperor. The Imperium sees him as a god, which is funny in the way that he's very like he's staunchly atheist, and he tried to run his Imperium as a very atheistic kind of empire because he believed in from what I know he believed that like religion kind of messes up empires and that's how they fall.
Okay.
So he was very big on no religion, you know, burn the heretics, we shouldn't have any religion. But it's very funny because people see him as a god, and there's only so much you can say as I'm not a god when you know show up with a glowing halo and like you know you're humongous, you have like heaven's light coming down upon you as you like you know show up. He literally is basically like a god. If it you know walks like a god, talks like a god, it's probably a god. But he doesn't like he's basically just human, but with some weirdly godlike powers. So he is in charge of the Imperium of Man. Unfortunately, right now, which we'll probably get into, not this, not this video, but maybe a later one, that he's kind of like a living corpse. He's sitting on the what's called the Golden Throne, and he's basically a skeleton that's still alive, but he doesn't really do anything. He just kind of like has this light that shines through the warp, which is basically hell. That will guide anyone traveling through the warp, like a lighthouse, basically.
Okay.
But he just sits there. He doesn't really do anything anymore. Ever since the Horus Heresy, which again, that's its own thing. I'm sorry, I'm not getting into the Horus Heresy because that's over like 40 books and way too much to talk about right now.
So this information, you're getting it from the book that came in the Armageddon pack?
No, this is stuff that I've gotten from before. This is actually going to help me with the orcs more, like. It maybe says something about the Emperor. I don't think it does, but it maybe does. But I didn't check. I'm mainly using this for the orcs. All the Emperor stuff I've gotten from like other books and just other information I've gotten. So the Emperor is very important to this because from the Emperor comes the Primarchs, and there's 21-ish Primarchs, from what I understand. And so they're basically his sons, but you know it's very debatable. Some people say that they're his sons. A good chunk of the time, it's kind of obvious that the Emperor just sees them as tools, because they're just like tools for war. Because something I didn't say was that the Emperor is like a workaholic. He loves doing his job of crusading, but also he's one guy and he can't be everywhere at once. So basically, he made the 21 Primarchs and basically gave them all traits of himself so that they could be there. So like he's the best at, you know, making fortresses. He has a son who does that. He's the best at war. He has a son who does that. And so each one is like something from him, and they will like basically do what he needs to be done if he can't be there because he's too busy. And these 21 Primarchs, they run the 20 legions. Each one of them is like basically leader of a legion, and their legions typically take after them. So this is where it's going to come with like what's the difference between a Space Marine and a Blood Angel. Basically, the Space Marines are made from the gene seed of the Primarchs. So they're basically, so how the Primarchs are the Emperor's son, the Space Marines of each legion are the sons of the Primarch. Yeah. So like you know about Sanguinius.
Mm-hmm.
Sanguinius is basically the dad. His DNA is in all of the Blood Angels, so they're basically all his sons.
Okay.
And that's how it works in every legion, is that they're all in some way like basically made from the Primarchs.
I was just learning about Dante because my son's name is Dante.
Yeah. So we know like he knows a good chunk about the Blood Angels somewhat, but
I don't know. Good.
He knows a little bit, but he knows about Dante at least. Not everything he's done, but he knows he exists.
There's a Blood Angel named Dante.
Yeah, he's a chapter commander, you know. I don't even know if you knew that. But, so there's 20 Primarchs, not 20 Primarchs, 21, and each one runs a legion. that is in their image. I'm not gonna, in this video, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to get into like what each legion does. That's its own video, because again, that's gonna take a long time. I'll name off the Primarchs, I'll name off their legions, and I'm not gonna go into their newer legions. I'm gonna go off of the ones that they had when they were around, and then because there's also in the current like 41st millennia after the Horus Heresy, some of them are split up. So they had like their own legions, like the Imperial Fist, or now the Crimson Fist and the Black Templar. Who you're interested in?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll name what their like original things are, but in a later video we'll go into it deeper. The Primarch of the First Legion is Lionel Johnson. His name is Lionel. I thought at first it was Lionel, but it's Lionel Johnson. And a little tidbit I learned was that apparently, in the language, like the English language of this, L actually means like the in this language. So it's like lion, the, and then Johnson. it means forest in this language. So it means lion of the forest, but you know, it just sounds like a really normal like guy name is as Lionel Johnson. He's the first Primarch of the sorry, I have all this stuff on my phone. He's the first Primarch of the Dark Angels, and they were like the first legion. They're very knightly, like if you like Knights of the Round Table, you know, Arthur, Merlin type stuff, they have a lot of designs with that. Marines will have like actual like knight caps and whatnot. They're very cool, very knightly fantasy, but still Space Marine sci-fi. We then have the second legion, which, as much as I love the redacted joke, I do have to explain this because I got really confused by this. So there are two legions that we don't know what they did. I'm pretty sure we don't know what they did. We don't know what they did, but they did something really bad that pissed the Emperor off, so he basically got rid of them. So they don't exist. We don't know anything about them. We don't know their names. We don't know the legion names. We don't know anything about them. So the second legion is actually one of those legions. So there's a second legion, but we don't know shit. So that's it for the second legion. I don't have anything else to say about them. We then have Primarch of the Emperor's Children, the third legion, which is Fulgrim. And he's basically like pretty. Like that's his whole thing. Like he's beautiful. He's very perfectionist. So if you like, you know, having a perfect like strategy and like just a perfect, he's very pretty and perfectionist.
What's
and that Fulgrim. And I will say that he is. I just realized I should have been saying this, even though you won't understand it now. But Lionel Johnson he's a loyalist faction. There's the Primarchs are split into loyalist and traitor factions because of the Horus Heresy. So Lionel Johnson is a loyalist, so he's loyal to the Emperor, and Fulgrim is actually a traitor. So he's not. He's loyal to chaos basically, which that'll be a whole another video. The fourth legion is the Iron Warriors, and that's run by Perturabo, who I really do like him, but I've heard that's very common that people like him. His whole thing is that he's kind of a brat, though. He's basically like, he's very complaining, like, you know, a spoiled brat. He's like, oh, I hate this, you make me do this, but also, like, I would be a brat too if I had the life he had, because basically his whole legion is, they will get their job done. You tell them to do something, they'll go do it. They'll be like, all right, well, you know, they won't even say they don't want to. They'll do it, but, you know, even if they don't want to. But they'll be like, we'll do it good, and we'll finish it. But because of that, they kind of got given a lot of shit jobs. Like, the jobs no one wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Like, they're like, oh, go defend this planet. We don't want to do it, but, you know, we're going to do it because we were told to. No one else would do it, though, because they don't want to do it, so they just dump it onto them. They basically get all the grunt work that needed to be done, but no one wanted to do it. So he has a good reason for being kind of a little baby, but he is a little baby. Yeah. I'm like so close to just going into a story, but I should. So he runs the Iron Warriors. That's Perturabo. He's kind of like I'd said it, baby, like that was his actual thing, but no, his thing is actually like architecture. He's like an engineer. He can build things. He can find something, take it apart, and build it like amazingly. Very fortify, except he has another brother who's better at it. You know. For the fifth legion, we have the White Scars, who is run by Jahade Khan, I think his name is. His whole thing is basically he's just Genghis Khan. Like, he's just designed to be Genghis Khan. He comes from, like, that's just his thing. He's very, his whole thing is speed, or like his whole Legion's thing is like, speed. They're very tactical. I'm gonna be real, I don't know for sure what his like special trait from um the Emperor is, but they basically, whereas like normal Space Marines, they'll just like run in, they'll be like, oh, I don't care if I get hit because I have armor that'll save me. They're like, no, we'll strategize. They'll, you know, feign an attack and then hit you harder. They won't like just use their brute strength. He had like kind of like an Emperor sort of thing on his planet. So he's very in the stories he'll be more likely to like argue with the Emperor, basically tell him why he's wrong, and you know, he's not really in agreement with how the Emperor runs things. But interestingly enough, unlike, you would think that that would mean he became a traitor when the Horus Heresy happened, but actually he was very loyalist. Not very loyalist, but he stayed. He didn't go traitor, mainly because if I remember correctly, it's because he just didn't find chaos to be all that appealing. So he's like, I'd rather just be with the Imperium than with chaos. And going back to Perturabo, because I forgot to mention what side he was on, he did become a traitor. And that's obviously because he kind of got all the grunt work. He basically got all the thankless work, and no one gave a fuck about giving it to him. I will love to do a lore video on Perturabo and the Iron Warriors one day, but that'll be later again. So Perturabo's a traitor, and then moving on back to the list, the Sixth Legion, which is the Space Wolves. They're run by Primarch Leman Russ, and they're kind of like Viking wolf guys.
Are they Space Marines?
Yeah, they're still Space Marines. All these are Space Marines, but like.
Do they wear wolf suits? Do they wear wolf
Some
suits?
of them have wolf ears. Like,
interesting.
They have like little ears. And I don't know a lot about the Space Wolves and Leman Russ, mainly because I just haven't focused on them too much. So that will be its own video, but I do know that Leman Russ is a loyalist, so another win for the loyalists, I guess. But yeah, they're basically Viking. They're kind of crazy. They're, you know, what you would expect a wolf-like legion to be like.
Okay.
You know, guys named Space Wolves.
I know when we went to the Warhammer store and you got the drink. What did they say?
Oh, it was a drink called Blood of the Blood God. And then, so the guy yelled it in the store, and then, like, everyone else went, skulls for the Skull Throne, or, you know, whatever legion they're specifically part of. And that's specifically for, like, chaos, so whenever we get to, like, Angron and whatnot, that is still gonna be in a separate video, but it's about the chaos gods, because the blood god is the, chaos god Khorne, who's, like, war, blood, death.
So the reason I was bringing that up, do the wolves have a chant like that? Oh.
They probably do, actually. I'd have to look it up, though. The next legion is the Seventh Legion, which is the Imperial Fists. Now, like I said earlier, they have split off not for the most part, but they have the Crimson Fist and the Black Templar. But they're the Imperial Fists, which are run by Rogel Dorn, and he's kind of like he's very, I don't want to say straight laced, but he's a loyalist, and he's basically the fortifier. He can build any fortress unpenetrable. You can't get in. He's basically the best of the best at doing that, which kind of pisses Perturabo off because it's kind of the same job that he has, except he's better. And he's, it's kind of like a complex thing. He's very loyalist in the way that he's just very serious. He was raised on a planet that's like, I'm not actually getting into it. But I'll just say he was raised on a planet where he was basically a noble, so that Dorn was his adopted family's name. Rogel Dorn's a loyalist in the way that when they tried, so Chaos wanted to turn him into a traitor, but they couldn't because he's so, like, he can't even lie. He won't lie. He's so straight, I don't want to say straight-laced, but he's so honest that he literally can't even lie to himself. So, like, if you're like, do I look fat in this dress? He'll say, yeah, you look fat, and here's why. Or if you're like, if he believes that he did something wrong, he'll be like, man, I suck, this is my fault. Like, he won't lie to himself and be like, no, I couldn't, he'll be like, no, this is my fault.
No.
So that's actually why Chaos can't really corrupt him, because what they do is they try and whisper in your ear, like, oh, this is because of this, oh, you would love it here. He'll be like, no, I can't lie to myself, I know that's not true.
No.
So he's actually pretty cool in the way that he's just like a really cool guy. But Imperial Fists, in fact, at the store, that big statue is an Imperial Fist statue.
Oh, cool.
I think it's either Imperial Fist or it's a Crimson Fist, which again, same thing, just like a branch. But basically, his Legion. Next Legion is Legion number 8, which is the Night Lords. They're very edgy, you know, dark. Edge. Well, there's an edgier one. I know people are probably like, okay, that's not true, but there's an edgier one. But they're run by Conrad Kurz. I don't know a whole lot about the Night Lords, so that's why I'm like kind of vague about what they are because I'm not big on them. But I know a good chunk about Conrad Kurz, which he's like kind of like a Loki-esque character, very mischievous, but he's also like an asshole. What I do know is he got one of the powers he got was he's able to basically see into the future, but the way the future works in Warhammer is that it's not like a set future. It's just like one of the futures that could happen, but he doesn't know that, so he thinks that what he sees is the future, and what he sees is basically the worst future. Like if it's the worst thing that happened, that's what he sees. So he believes that that's the future, even though it's kind of just.
So he sees a future how like is an image in his mind.
Yeah, like he dreams it.
Dreams it.
Yeah, and it like or not even dreams it, but it'll like come to his mind. Like he shook Rogel Dorn's hand when he first met him, and he imagined like he imagined his death. Which I'll get in. We'll get into that in a later video. But he basically he sees like the worst images to the point to where multiple of his brothers he saw their deaths, and believed that to be true, so he didn't get close to them or anything. But again, like I said, it's a version of the death. Like what he saw with Rogel Dorn was that he dies and he basically has his hand cut off and that's all that's left of him. And but some people have speculated like, oh, well, one that's a different one that's like that could just be one like vision he saw, or it could be that he just didn't see it right. He thought that he died, but really Rogel Dorn isn't like. We don't know that he's dead. He's just missing and that his hand was found. So it's possible that he just saw his brother missing and he's not dead. But that's kind of like all I really know about like Conrad Kurz and whatnot. He's very mischievous. He tortures a lot of his brothers and whatnot, and he's a traitor. if you couldn't tell by the fact that the way I'm talking about him, he's a traitor. He is one of the few Primarch, not one of the few. He's one of the many who are actually dead right now. He got assassinated, and actually from what I've learned, he knew that he was going to get assassinated. He dreamt it, and instead of stopping it, he just let it happen because in his mind he would rather be right about his visions than be wrong. So he'd rather die and be right than be wrong.
Do you know how old he was?
No, well, probably a couple thousand years old. These guys are like demigods. They're really old. Next, we're going to go on to what seems to be your favorite legion, the 9th Legion, which is the Blood Angels. Their Primarch is Sanguinius, and he's really special in the way that he's actually like a mutant. Like, kind of like Angel from the X-Men. Like, he has big angelic wings. No one else has that. That's only him. Big angelic wings. He's, like, very beautiful, and that's actually something interesting about his whole legion. All the Blood Angels just look beautiful. Like, they're all really handsome men. And, like, even if you go in, like, if you go in as a kid and you're, like, an ugly-ass kid, you'll come out as a Space Marine as really handsome.
I gotta go there.
Yeah. No, that's not bad. Sanguinius, I don't know for sure what he, like, specifically got from his dad, mainly because I think I might have forgotten. But he's basically, like, he's just perfect. Like, everyone loves him. When he first got to his legion, the Blood Angels, like when he first arrived and took claim of them, instead of them swearing loyalty to him, he's like, no, I love you guys. I swore loyalty to you guys. I'm sorry because I'm going to serve you guys. Because whenever other Primarchs claimed their Space Marines, they were just like, yes, I'm your leader, and everyone else swears loyalty. He was like, no, I'm loyal to you guys. He's basically a really awesome guy. And unfortunately, he is also another one of the ones that got killed during the Horus Heresy. It was during a fight with the Emperor. And actually, no, I do remember what he got. he actually got something similar to Conrad Kurz, except he got basically better visions. He didn't get like the worst. He got good ones, and actually he saw his death also, and he also
Sanguinius saw his own death.
yeah, he saw his own death, and he also let himself be killed because his fear was that if he didn't die, then Horus would win the heresy. Because he saw that he dies and then Horus loses, and so he's like, if I don't die, my brother might win. Sanguinius and the Blood Angels. Something that does kind of that is well known about the Blood Angels is that they have two main things. They have like kind of these kind of curses. So they have the Red Thirst, which is just a violent rage. You know, they drink blood. They're very vampiric. I forgot even to mention that they're very vampirically designed.
Like they'll bite your neck.
Yeah, bite your neck. You know, Twilight. You know, very pretty, very vampire. You know.
Do you turn into a blood angel if they bite you?
No. But yes, so very vampiric. So we have the red rage was like very blood, very drink blood. You know, squirrels might go missing, whatnot. After Sanguinius' death, though, they developed a kind of strain from the red thirst, which is the black rage, and it's basically where it's insanity. They basically go crazy and they will kill anything in their way. And it's basically some of them go so crazy that they believe themselves to be Sanguinius in the fight with Horus, and they believe everyone else and any enemy to be Horus.
But what makes them go into the black rage?
If they're like in a wall, like if they're like fighting, and they're just getting too worked up, or like their comrades are dying and they're like, I don't know what to do. They'll go into a black rage and they'll forget any like self they won't protect themselves basically. They'll just go into a rage and they'll start going crazy. And it can be like a build up too. It won't just happen automatically sometimes. Sometimes it can just be like over time they just go crazy. And the black rage can actually get so bad that sometimes they have an actual guy, like a chaplain, who will just kill them. Like basically put them out of their misery. Or they'll try and basically lock them up in a tower until they're needed for another battle. Because they'll literally kill anything.
I know you were just saying that they live thousands of years or hundreds of years or something like that, but so then are they easy to kill? Like, do they just shoot them?
Yeah. So Space Marines and whatnot, they basically just have really long lifespans. They don't not get old. They do get old. It's just really slowly. And so they're not immortal.
Okay.
They can die just as easily as like a regular human. It's just they have a lot more keeping them from dying. The 10th Legion, which is run by Ferrus Manus, he's basically a forger. He forges forges weapons and whatnot. Again, I don't know a lot about him and his legion, which I didn't even mention what they are. They're the Iron Hands. They're not really around as much, mainly because they're part of what's called the Shattered Legions, which is during the Horus Heresy there was something called the Drop Site Massacre, where like this is the very start of the heresy, where basically Horus invited all these people who he knew would not follow him in treachery to this planet and basically just killed them all. And the Iron Hands, I'm pretty sure, were one of the legions that came for reinforcement and thought that they were because basically there was like I think 7 legions who came because they thought Horus was there and they were going to kill him, and they came to kill him, but it turns out that 4 of those legions were actually traitors and basically turned against the other 3. And one of the 3 legions was the Iron Hands, who basically those 3 legions, like they're called the Shattered Legions because they got like messed up. Like so many of their guys got killed. And the Iron Hands was one of them. Ferrus Manus actually, I don't remember if he died there, but Ferrus Manus did die by Fulgrim basically chopping his head off. So obviously he's a loyalist. And actually, the reason this happened is because he got so mad at the thought that his brother had betrayed them that he basically rushed in and didn't care about like reinforcements. He's like, no, we have to go kill these guys. And that's actually what led to him dying, because he's refusing to stop fighting until they're dead. And Fulgrim, who is his closest brother, kept trying to like turn him, and he's like, "No, I hate you. Like, you're a traitor to the Imperium," and that's what led Fulgrim to killing him. Um, Again, I don't know a lot about the Iron Hands, mainly because there's not much about them. They're one of those legions, kind of like I don't want to say forgotten about, but there's not a lot. Mainly because again, they're shattered and kind of broken right now. Moving on to the 11th Legion, that's another redacted one. That's another one that we don't know anything about because they don't exist anymore. So I can't tell you much about them because, boom, gone.